Hello, I am Len Lindsay at my ISS Vanguard, going to explain the playmats. The playmats are optional, they're not required, but some people will find them helpful to keep you organized as you play the game. Here's an example of a playmat. It's very flexible. It feels like rubber in the back. It's neoprene. It's got stitching around the edges so that it won't fray. Very nice. It's color coded. The edges are colored purple for this section. The other sections have their own colors. Bottom corner is the purple logo for science, which this the mat for science. On the playmat, look at the top. You see four cards marked off. You see the outlines for the cards. This is where your section cards go that are in your hand. They're face up. Here, the first two spots, rank 1 crew members will be able to have 2 cards. They'll go here. If you're a rank 2 crew member, you'll be able to have 3 cards in your hand. And the top of the line rank 3 characters, they can have 4 section cards at any one time. Top corner, this would be where your equipment cards can go. In the middle of the board, it looks like a crew board. I would highly recommend not using this as your crew board, that you should put your crew board on top of the mat right here. The reasons that you don't use it are, one, it's not color coded. You'd have to remember that the first column is for red dice, green dice, and then blue dice. Also, there's no indentations. The dice will slide around. Use the crew board, just place it here. It's got markings right here and here, where the crew board corners will go, and it fits right across down here. On the left side is a spot where you're going to put the deck of your section cards for that crew member. And after you use a card from your hand, it goes into the discard pile, which is on the right side of the crew board right here. That's your discard pile. On the bottom, there's a spot for the 3 injury cards in case you get injured during the game. If you look, this is the bottom of the crew board right here. It's marking it. You can see the injury cards are going to go a little bit above, so they're going to lay on top of the crew board, and there'll be markings on the crew board for that. In the bottom corner, here's a spot where you're going to put your turn available or turn not available because you've used your turn up. That marker goes here. The bottom is your marker. If it's your turn, it tells you if you have 2 actions left or 1 action left. The other corner is decorative. It's got the logo for the section. It will match the color for each section. You could put your start marker there if you're the first player. And in my case, I'm going to put a little dice tray here. For each section, it's going to have their own dice. When assisting, they'll have a little dice tray for their 1 die that they typically would roll for that. And at this point, I'm going to look over here in a book of stories that I wrote. One of the stories involved Mark Polson. During the 24 days of the countdown before people actually received their games, I wrote some stories and I've now put them in a book. I'm sending this book to Awaken Realms as a thank you for the game that they've created, designed, tested for us. Inside this book are the stories. On day 24 of the countdown is when Mark Polson arrived in the stories. He was arranging a concert aboard the Starship. And in the concert, they were going to do a piano jam with the piano that Thabisha's parents had brought onto the Starship. I have a playlist that goes along with this book, and in that playlist, you'll be able to actually listen to a piano jam as an example. And back to the game. Over here, now through the magics of science, this board is already set up for your playmat here. They put the crew member board in the middle. The dice are on it. The crew member's on it. You can see how this card for the injuries overlaps the very bottom. If I had an injury, I don't yet, but that would be where it would go. My 2 cards I have face up. They're in my hand right now, my section cards. This is my deck I have for my section cards. I don't have any discards yet because I've just started. I don't have any equipment cards. My crew member is going to be, should be on the board already, but I left him there. The bottom corner, I still have a turn available, and I'm going to be going first, so I have 2 actions left at this time. And how this goes on your table, I have a 38-inch table, and it just barely fits everything on the table. I'm hoping to start my tutorial finally, maybe tomorrow. This has been Len Lindsay, my ISS Vanguard.